Yo, it's your boy Ancient Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew. -1, unfortunately. Anthony had to be at work. They are putting a giant plane on his giant boat, I believe, and he needs to be there
He
for
had to
it.
pick up his daughter, and he's still dealing with the raccoon situation.
Oh, there's still a raccoon. Anyways, he's got a lot going on, so it's just me and Dean tonight, the ever lovely AlphaDean. But just as a quick reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and subscribe to us over on YouTube. It's a great help to our channel. We're trying to reach even greater heights, and we really appreciate all the support we've received thus far. But without further ado, we have a special guest tonight, but I'm going to let Dean go ahead and take it away and tell us about what we're doing here tonight.
Well, we have none other than the illustrious Bruce Cordell, the very prolific, the wonder behind so many great products from MCG and in the RPG industry in general. So, but we're here tonight to talk to Bruce about Rust and Redemption and see if we can get some sneaky insights into what might be going on with Knights of Dust and Neon. But basically we're just gonna have a good talk. So, I don't think I have to go any further. Bruce, you want to say hello to everybody out here in the interwebs, and let's get to it.
Well, thank you very much, you guys, Dean and Al, for having me on. It's always great talking to you and seeing you at conventions, so on. So that's all I've got to say about that. Thanks for having me. What did you have a first question that I missed there? And that
Oh no, we just wanted you to say hello to everybody, and
hello to everyone else who's watching or may watch. Thank you for watching me talk and stumble over my words.
All right, so but without further ado, we will get right into the first question. So you've been here so many times. We're going to skip all the pleasantries and we're going to jump right in. Rust and Redemption. You worked alongside the fantastic Dominique Dickey for this post-apocalyptic title. Now, did you guys get chosen for the task, or was it something you kind of vied for? And how did you decide who would work on which parts?
Yeah, I pulled for working on the post-apocalyptic white book. It seemed like the one of the things that I love. One of the things that one of the first alternate games I played before when D&D back in high school days was Gamma World, and I've actually worked on an edition of Gamma World. I've always loved post-apocalyptic stuff, right? And so yeah, I was really wanted to work on that, and Dominique had similar feelings about the setting, and I hadn't been at the company very long actually by the time we started working on that. But we kind of sat down and I said, "You want to work? What would you like to work on? Would you like to work on the setting?" Because I led the book, and they were like, "I would like to work on the setting." We kind of did some brainstorming on possible ways the setting can go, but they kind of settled on, "I'd like to go in this direction." I was like, "Go for it. That sounds perfect." And I think they hit it out of the park. It's a different setting than I would have written. It's a cozier setting, I guess, but still has a lot of interesting secrets and going for it. And I worked on other stuff in the book, basically all the set pieces and the optional rules and creatures, many of the creatures, and then many of the adventures, their options, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds great. And like I said, Rust and Redemption is actually a really, really good book. And I mean, of course, who else to work on it but the guy who did the post-apocalyptic, setting for us in Gods of the Fall. I mean, it just makes perfect sense, that they would bring you in for such a thing.
I liked working on this because that was a magical apocalypse. Heaven fell and broke upon the land 42 years ago. That created a magical apocalypse. But I like this one because it's a real world, so I could bring in real scientific terms and terminology, radiation threats. How long does food really last? How long will buildings really last? And I went just really down a rabbit hole for some of those charts to give you just really, what is it going to look like if your beans are, have spoiled? Can you still eat it? What are the effects going to be? For people who really want to go down that road, I think a lot of people are going to go, I don't want to go quite down that road. But there are some people like Charles Ryan, our COO. He loves that kind of detail and that sort of detail-oriented stuff for his post-apocalyptic scenarios.
That's actually a great segue into the next question I have here. What do you call it? Personally, what was your favorite? Because you talked about a rabbit hole just now, and rabbit holes, you always end up having one favorite part of that rabbit hole. What was your favorite part of working on Rust and Redemption? And conversely, what was the hardest part to work on?
Oh, let's see. My favorite part, I'm gonna make a big noise here because my books are all gonna flying. I really enjoyed working on kind of, I don't know, just the realistic threats and hazards, just the kind of breaking things up. Here are the realistic threats that could actually happen in a post-apocalyptic thing. Oh, and here's the weird, crazy shit if magic is part of it, if hell's attacking, if there's a cross-time rip, time storms are moving across the land, right? So just to have this mixture of like real-world horrible threats and crazy fantasy horrible threats, both those things are really great. The hardest thing, I also really enjoyed working on the adventure Bitter Seeds, which was run at Gen Con, and I'm still running. I really enjoy those adventure. And there's another adventure in the book called Safe Zone. The original adventure title was One Really Bad Day or something like that. One Bad Day, which is like the characters are working in a office, and suddenly in the apocalypse, actually, weird. The elevator's not working. They get out. They see a woman jump off the building with a weird look in her eyes, and then they see a plane crash in, and they see a nuclear bomb go off, and like the apocalypse is happening, and you have to get to a safe zone as like weird shit's coming in over the radio that seems to be affecting people in a unanticipated way. So those are really fun things to work on.
Oh man, that sounds absolutely awesome. And real quick to everyone in the chat, if you have questions, please preface your question with the word question, and we will, take a tally of them and try to get as many in as possible after we go through the basic interview. But Bruce, you saying that is actually pretty awesome. I mean, because it really sets the stage for the variety of things that can be done with a post-apocalyptic setting that I think a lot of people sometimes, glaze over or don't realize, just like the Shannara stories, that was a fantasy apocalypse that most people don't really realize, So being able to add those elements and put things together is, absolutely exciting, and, gets the creative juices flowing. So for those not super interested in post-apocalyptic genre, what's something they could take away from this book and perhaps use in other genres?
Well, there are a lot of realistic rules for dehydration, exposure, radiation poisoning, that sort of thing. I'm not sure there's creatures in this book that you can use, of course, in any sort of thing. We have the radioactive bear, which is just a nightmare in any situation. It's also been partly militarized by someone who's gone and put some military surplus cybernetics into it. So it's a complete mess. There's a lot of really fun monsters in here. The Melted, it's from a cross-dimensional apocalypse, kind of burning into our reality around places where it got bombed out so much that reality is a little too thin. So yeah, no, there's a lot of great monsters in here, and I think that people like that. Adventures are fun. You can just always run a one shot like the adventure Bitter Seeds. I mean, you said who aren't interested, but who doesn't want to play a single one shot adventure? And hey, they have pre-generated characters. You can use the QR code to just download and give to your players and say, hey, this is what we're playing tonight, and go from there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I will say though, two things since you were showing off the book. You guys are always knocking out of the park with the art that you guys choose, or the artists that you guys choose for your books. The art is always phenomenal, and Rust and Redemption is no exception there in that realm. So if you guys haven't seen the book yet, when it's available for general purchase, is it available for general purchase yet? I forget.
I think so. I mean,
I got
this pre-press thing like a month ago, and I was like, very excited, but I knew I was already going to be on moving and working on other things. But yeah, if it's not available, it's going to be available at any moment, right? And certainly we have a free they call it preview available at the MCG shop. You can just download that. There's like 12 or so pages with a little bit of content in there, like a creature or two, some table excerpts, stuff like that. So check that out. See if there's anything.
It does look like it is available. So
nice.
So definitely check that out if you haven't had a chance to, anyone in the chat. And the second thing was just to piggyback off of what you could use for other settings, genres, whatever. I really like the crafting stuff you put in this book, and I feel like that could have a place in a bunch of different genres and settings and stuff. I like, just me personally, I like seeing that in most games that I play. I have a problem with making stuff. I just love it.
It is a crafting system that I first kind of put in something. We had a very small version of this in Expanded Worlds, and we had a version of that was kind of extracted from that in the Cypher System rulebook. But as I was reading through those rules, I realized that didn't have a through line to what we really needed to actually finish the job of crafting. And so I just extrapolated all the rules and made them much more robust, added a lot more of the, obviously we did crafting in Destiny for Numenera, and that was a much more complex system, and I wanted something a lot more light. And so just breaking things down into 10 different components, whether it's in, textile or automotive or construction, electronics, right? Just these broad categories. And you just need, I think I called them piles. You just need 3 piles or stacks or something like that. And you have this and you spend this much time, and you can make or repair something. You can repair it a lot more quickly than you can make it fresh, if ever. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed working on that a lot too.
Oh.
And
that modularity that you guys always bring to Cypher, whether it's, talking about Numenera's crafting, which is, like we said, more complex, or the simplified version, but still more robust. It just adds those elements that we always talk about with Cypher, that you can run anything, because now you've just given us another flexible plug and play tool to use. Like you were talking about the survival rules that you really liked. And of course, those can go into any game you want. We can use those in fantasy, you can use those in, hard sci-fi, whatever. So again, Bruce, just keep knocking it out the park. I mean, Al said it the best. It's really exciting, and it just, it's really a cool part about this journey that you guys have allowed us to be on with Monte Cook Games. And we always get really excited and look forward to these moments.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we wouldn't. There would be no journey without people who enjoyed it and were enthusiastic about it. So it's a two-way street.
Go ahead, Al. No, I was getting ready to go to the next question. Go ahead.
Mine was the next question. But yeah, we'll move on to that one. But yeah, it's kind of a great segue to what we were just talking about. We were talking about the crafting, but Rust of Redemption presents a bunch of great mechanics that were created for the post-apocalyptic genre. Which ones were your favorite, or are your favorite from the book?
My favorite mechanic from the book. I mean, there's not really any sort of real mechanic in that sense. I mean, it's just more of what I really wanted to do is just to give the GM like more building blocks of set pieces and plot points. So I guess that would be the thing that, like, all right, if you're going to have an apocalypse that has demons and because hell's starting and what are the things that are going to happen? Oh, well, here they're going to talk about the 7 seals. Here's what those are. Here's what a fissure of lava might look like, and here's how the game. Here's what the story of that apocalypse might look like, right? Oh, if aliens are going to try and terraform the Earth, how might that play out? There might be like 2 or 3 mechanical little bits of like, oh, maybe the kaiju are actually walking, terraforming machines that are alive, right? That kind of thing, and little areas of places where things might be happening. Just everything of that, like a hothouse Earth. What are some types of mechanical things can a GM just pull and pluck from that? Or too cold, the snowball Earth. All these things are possible in an apocalypse. Obviously, the nuclear rules, radiation hazard, and stuff like that. Yeah, time rips. How does that work?
That's a good answer. That like, even though you said it's not really, that's a great answer, because the book does that. It's like fantastically. Like, I didn't, honestly, in my head, when I first picked up the book, I didn't expect to really see that much thought put into like how the world plays out in each of these apocalypses. That makes sense. I was pleasantly surprised to see that much attention to detail when it came to that aspect. Put a lot of wheels in motion up here.
And these books are 30% setting, maybe 20% setting, an example setting, right? But then they're the creatures, the foci, the adventures, but the meat of the book is supposed to be like, how do you want to build your own setting? Here are 10 different ways. Here are 20 different on-roads for you to start creating your own, in this case, post-apocalyptic setting, right? Because the first chapters or two are like, think about, is theme important to you? Do you want to start down the theme road of like, what do you want to say humanity can strive, or is humanity get screwed, right? It's you can start down that and get some ideas based on, and here are like 5 ideas of what you could throw into your game if you want to follow the theme of humans are terrible people.
It's funny you bring that up because, again, we always say post-apocalyptic, we all love it, and I was just looking at certain things, I was looking at a bunch of post-apocalyptic stuff when we were, coming up with the questions to ask you and, getting ready for tonight. And I was just like, something that I don't see done a lot is the beginning of the apocalypse. We always are into the apocalypse. We're all the post-apocalyptic aspect of it. Whereas this book actually gives you enough information to literally do the apocalypse, actually take players through it happening, which is also pretty cool, because like now I want to do this thing, where let the apocalypse happen, right? And then flash forward with their characters, to 10, 20 years into the apocalypse.
Right.
So yeah,
that's a good idea.
You've inspired a lot of ideas, with this book. This book is like really, really solidly done. But that being said, I'm going to switch gears on you. We're going to talk about the Cypher system Bestiary. Because, everyone is excited about this thing. Oh, and look, what he happens to have right there next to it. Look at that guy.
It showed up yesterday. Can you believe it?
So, it's beautiful. So, the question we have, everyone is excited about this, but what's your favorite new monster in this book? If you have one.
Favorite new monster. Let me just step back for a second and talk about what is different about the monsters in this book, the creatures, and that is how we've decided to how to present them, other than saying here is like a zombie, here is a orc. This book is like orcs. Here's all the ways that you can build. Let's go with adventure, right? So there's a basic stat block for the adventurer, but then there's like, this is a whole 2-page spread. It's like, here's names of adventurers. Here's the kind of adventure things the adventurers are going to do. Here's the sort of the different weird powers these adventurers might have. So you can use this one thing to create, 100 different types of adventurers, right? With just by this one thing. And that's true for every single one of these things. Like goblins, the goblins are the most boring thing in the world. Oh, what about goblin names? What about goblin tactics? What about goblin look at gatefold? What about a basic goblin warren here? Goblin loot you might find that's weird and interesting, traps you might find in the goblin things, what the goblins are doing when you're breaking into their thing. So that's what this book is like. Every single creature you can see in here is at least 2 pages, and some of them, as you can see, are 4 pages, which allow you to really go down that road. I don't know. I think some of my here's a secret agent. I think one of my favorite creatures is weirdly. Oh, I did a lot of supervillains and stuff like that, which were fun. But I think my favorite villains, or the favorite new creatures, because they're completely all new, is the Weird West section that I did, kind of in advance of like ever having the idea that we were going to necessarily do something later. But yeah, so we have all these Weird West creatures, and so we have things like Forgeborn, which are these creatures which are made from, they're sort of like golems, but like made with a locomotive, a locomotive called a locomotive, or an Alkahemoth, which is made with like a still, a Deadshot, which is like a Frankenstein made with the parts of gunslingers who were hanged, right? That sort of thing. Lawmen, which of course,
bro, don't show them anymore.
Am I showing it all off? Oh,
they're gonna lose it in the chat. They're not even gonna listen to anything else we say, because I'm already like over the moon with myself about this, because it's like boom. This is
it's a fun book. This book. I had so much fun working on. Like I just really got into it, and yeah, I was sad to see it be done.
You're muted.
I'm glad it's out.
No, I actually wasn't muted. I was just mouthing it because I didn't want to be too loud. Because this is amazing. That's so good. Oh my God. It's amazing. And before I keep gushing and get us on a tangent here, I want to circle back and ask my questions. You brought it out, that multi-page spread thing. So you guys put them in there, look amazing. They look amazing. Can you tell us which baddies we'll see on those, if you can be specific? And will there be kind of a follow-up? Will there be any other information other than stats found on these spreads?
But he already told us, yes.
Anything
else, I should say. Then.
I'm pretty sure that the gatefold idea came from Javier, one of our MCG employees last couple of years, Beltran. Hopefully, Javier Beltran, and he's like, oh, it'd be cool if we did a gatefold, and we're like, yeah, it would be cool. So thanks Javier for that great idea. Certainly ran with it. And Javier actually did the layout of this book as well. So it's down to him how great all these things look in here. So all that, and all the great art that Bear got from all the great artists. So I don't want to take away. All I did was write the words, but this is a product of many different people, many different ideas, and a lot of things. But yeah, so goblins get it, get the treatment. There are some other creatures I think that are 4 pages that aren't. I don't know. I have to check that. But yeah, there's lots of things on here that aren't stats. There are things that are stats as well. But we have things like goblin allies, goblin tactics, goblin loot, goblin activity. What weird thing like, oh, what are they doing? They're they're eating a bonfire with tomes, scrolls, paintings, and other burnable stuff stolen from a wizard's lair. It's like, what are you doing, goblins? Right? It's always like, when you come upon goblins, it's always nice to like see what crazy thing they're up to, right? So. And names, traps that they have, and some tactics and some rules, but that kind of thing. So we have. I'll just give you a couple. Let's see. Each of these sections. Let me back up again as well. There are sections in the book that we have all the creatures by level here, but the book is organized by genre. So we have fantasy, horror, fairy tale, modern, science fiction, superheroes, post-apocalyptic, and Weird West. And now there's creatures in each one of these things, but there's always creatures in another section that could also, play a part. So, like the first section is fantasy. You'll see here. It'll give you all like the fantasy main creatures. But then it says there's another sub-index, which is like related creatures in other sections, right? And it'll tell you where to go to find them, because of course, yeah, I would expect to find demons, vampires, werewolves in fantasy, right? But these probably happen to be in horror in this particular thing. And so they're written with a light slant for their genre, but they're totally usable in whatever, genre you would like to use them in. Anyway, yeah. So each of these main genre sections, fantasy, superheroes, have at least one gatefold and maybe only one. So that's about as many gatefolds as you're going to expect as the number of genres. And so, for instance, the horror genre, the gatefold goes to haunted house, which is a weird sort of creature, but seem like the we could make that work. So
Darkest House making a cameo.
sort of. Let's see. In science fiction, the gatefold goes to our villain nemesis. Speaking of something we were just talking about before, billionaires.
Nice.
So there's a lot in here. There's more than you expect, and the gatefold. Oh, you know what? It's not a gatefold. It's 4 pages, but it did not get the gatefold. Too bad for them. But there's the bunker the billionaires have if you want to explore that. Let's see. Where is the science fiction?
I'm
the
dying
science fiction
because
has
this is
robots
so cool.
as its gatefold. All the various different types of robots you'd see. Let me go back to the modern and see who got the gatefold. Maybe no one got the gatefold.
Was that a panda? Panda bot? I thought I saw a panda when you folded out the bot section.
Yeah, that was a child's toy that also can have the child's put it into emergency mode where it can.
Now I have to go see that movie Imaginary now that you just show me the gatefold robot.
Oh, crime bosses. Crime bosses got the gatefold in modern. Okay, yeah. Crime boss, safe house, criminals. Yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, those are some of the things, ideas. I don't think I answered all your questions, but yeah, that's Weird West. Who got the
That's
gatefold?
really cool. I mean,
Oh,
that's
the Forgeborn.
Excuse me.
The Forgeborn got the gatefold in Weird West.
Oh, okay, cool.
Alcahemoth and the Locomotum and the Deadshot.
So let's switch gears one more time. We're gonna ask another question as much as you can answer. But Knights of Dust and Neon has already gotten everybody ultimately and totally flipping excited. Do you know which of the 3 books you're working on? And if you don't, which one would you want to work on?
Can you guess which one I'm working on?
If it were me and knowing Bruce,
I'm just gonna tell you. If it
was me and knowing Bruce, I would say Neon Rain. But that's just me.
Oh, interesting. So I actually wanted to work on the Weird West book because I also wrote a Weird West adventure, which is going to appear in Adventures in the Cypher System. So that's coming up, and based kind of on all the thought I put into that, I was like, I think I could do a one of these source books, some good do a good job on these things. So I'm going to be the lead on High Noon at Midnight, and I've actually been working on it for already a month at least. So I'm already in that book, and it's all outlined, of course, and everything. But whenever I outline something, of course, things always change when you're down in the trenches actually doing work. I will be doing a little bit of work on Neon Rain, but Sean is going to is already working on that, taking the lead, and Sean and Dominique. Maybe they're both. They're co-authoring that book, and I'm going to come in and just help out with some things here and there, some tech things, kind of like maybe you're thinking, Dean. I'm going to bring in some tech perspective, and
like I said, it's actually quite interesting because I really would have thought it would have been flip-flopped. I thought Sean would have done, because he did Stay Alive, the Weird West type stuff, that vibe. But hey, I'm excited regardless because neither one of you have ever let me down in the work that you've done, that you've put out on anything. Like I said, we're the biggest fanboys around. So we're impressed and we're happy. And now I know why Kate, I have something to talk to you after the stream. Kate told me to tell you something.
And of course, there's a last book, which is Gunslinger Knights. And I think Shauna is going to lead that one. And Monte will also be working on that one. So that should be pretty spectacular.
Oh, okay. Because Kate told us it was Monte, but now you're saying Shauna. Oh, wow. That's going to be great.
I'm pretty sure it's Shauna.
That's gonna
You
be
know,
awesome. Hey,
these things, of course, that's still in the future, though. So these things can change, right? I mean, you never know, right? I mean, I could have an emergency tomorrow or something, and Sean would come in or Monte would come in and finish writing High Noon at Midnight. You never know what's going to happen. But we're actually a lot farther along working on these books than we often have the opportunity to be. So that's really nice.
Like I said, it really doesn't matter who's doing it because, like I said, you guys have the most impeccable track record of any company I've ever dealt with as far as their products and the quality and just what you give us in general. I really can't say that there's anything I don't like.
It's probably that we're so small, right? And there's no you don't get to that thing when you have a huge corporation where it's like, well, it's not my job to do that sort of thing, right? I don't want to say that's what happens at large corporations, at like places I've worked before, but it does a little, right? And there's so many different pieces, so many different parts, and at our company, like the kind of the buck stops with us, right? And if it doesn't hit, right, it's like oh, so I don't know. I don't know if that's why, but we're also all been veterans of the industry. Many of us worked at Wizards of the Coast, TSR before that, and so we know how the sausage is made, and we're always trying to make the sausage new. Always trying to try new flavors and say, well, throw out the sausage. Let's make some other meat shape. Let's use a vegetable protein for this instead. Well, maybe not. We'll see, right? Gotta try new things.
You guys do a great job. Like I said, me, Anthony, and Al, have our discussions about various things, and even the things that we may have had some issue with, like go all the way back to Unmasked. Unmasked wasn't a bad setting or anything like that. We loved all of that. The only problem we had with Unmasked was that it's a superhero book. Where are all the powers? Where where are the foci? But you guys fixed that later as well. So. But yeah,
I will say before I move on to my next question, that two things. I'm super excited, and I think the whole community as a whole is very excited that we're getting a brand new setting book, like a whole setting book with Gunslinger Knights, and so much so that someone like 2 minutes after we had that stream with, I believe it was Kate, made a meme about the brand new setting coming out, and it's such a good meme. And then the second thing was High Noon at Midnight is the coolest damn title ever. Like that? I love that title. That is such a good title. Oh my god.
Neon Rain.
Yeah, they're both great, but
they're awesome. I knew that Midnight, awesome.
Rain. I think Sean just came up with that, but man, we really workshopped the Weird West one.
Oh, since we're on it, what were some rejected title names, if you remember?
I actually am using some of the rejected title names for other things related to the book. So like there's going to be an associated product. I think it's going to be part of the main thing. Well, I'll just tell you the titles, and you can see what they go to later. Like Wanted, Hex Store Alive was a suggestion, but that's going to be a thing. The Ghost Range was a main title suggestion, but it's going to be another thing. I'm going to use it as the setting name of inside the book. So
nice.
Yeah. So those are the things that reached the top. There was Riders of the Demon Sage, which was it's kind of a take on an old Western novel by Louis L'Amour called Riders of the Purple Sage. But I don't know if people are familiar. That goes so far back that it's like, So there are a lot of things like that.
I think y'all landed on a good one.
Good.
Yeah, I am absolutely in love with that title. Yeah, but
that is a great title.
You kind of mentioned other things that are coming with Knights of Dust and Neon. Like all the extras, and I know we kind of talked about on the other stream with Kate, like the dice and some other stuff. What of these extras are you most excited about to see included in this project? If you know,
what did Kate say it was going to be in this extras?
I'll be honest with you. All I remember was the dice because that's what I was most excited about.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and zines, I believe. She said something about zines.
Dice,
Oh, okay.
Possibly some zines.
Yes, there. Okay, then yes. So each of these books is, I think, going to come out of the gates, as part of the initial, not hidden behind a what do you call them? Pledge upgrade. What do you call those things?
Yeah, pledge level.
Yeah. So yeah, the zines are going to be something, right? And they're probably going to be different for each book, right? But we've talked about various things that they could be. They might be an adventure. They might be an adventure in a completely different format that is more comic booky, and the GM just looks and takes stats in the corners and just makes the adventure from the comic book section. Yeah, Wanted Hexter Alive is going to be the name of the zine that goes with High Noon at Midnight. We have some other fun stuff planned if they can be unlocked through pledge updates. I know you just said the word, but I was talking while you said it.
Yeah.
When they have a goal, pledge goal? No,
pledge levels.
Pledge level, yeah, okay.
And
you can see that I run these Kickstarters. No, I ran the last Kickstarter I actually personally ran was the Strange Box, which was a while back.
Oh, Kate said you could tell us everything and that Charles won't mind. So you can spill all the names of it. Oh, if only.
Yeah, there's. I think that they're very thematically appropriate. Certainly the one for High Noon at Midnight, which I've been thinking about, will be thematically appropriate. It should make people excited to have. And I'm going to make use of them in the game even more so than the coins that were part of the Rainbreaker thing. If you remember those coins of strange mintage, if you actually had them in the game, you would then get on the path and allow you to travel to different dimensions. But of course, those things. You still have them in the plastic. Yeah, so
I'm neurotic.
Yeah, I like to. I really I like those coins, but there wasn't much use for them beyond that. But the thing that is not coins that I'm hoping will get unlocked will be even more useful. That's all I'm going to say. I'm saying too much already. All right.
Okay.
And I will hope. Good.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Once again, it's me being psychic. You guys are going to make poker chips that we can use for XP. XP poker chips. That's what's coming. And if it's not, it's a suggestion now. I'm throwing it out there.
Okay, XP.
What I was going to say was poker chips that were stat pools, so it's more easy to keep track of it. I love that idea from No Thank You Evil, like how we have the little like tokens or whatever, little cardboard. Ideas. Yeah, I absolutely love that. So I would love to see a cipher system version.
All right, yes. You know what? I got stuff. Yes, those are great
out there. Whoever's watching, powers that be. We told you, Bruce.
I'm gonna throw this into our Slack, our company Slack office, and say, hey, you guys suggested these things if we're end up looking for more ideas.
And I will say, just as to reinforce this idea, I have seen members of the community post pictures of their own personal poker chips that they use for these reasons. So nice. I think people would like to have official ones from Monte Cook Games. Right. I'm not trying to speak for everyone, but I'm saying that people already do this.
Yes, it is a thing that we do. People will use little beads or markers for their stat pool, so they can just take off however many they use at that time, and then it helps them keep track. Because some people have issues with mathing.
Yeah, no, there's a certain satisfaction to be had with the tactile nature of moving these things around. As I discovered when I played Invisible Sun, right? I was like, oh, I like this.
I mean, I could just see couldn't you just see sitting at the table and somebody flicking a poker chip, letting you know they're getting ready to use XP on something.
Well, I think it's a great idea.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, and Anthony said in the chat, poker chips also goes with Weird West. So
exactly. I mean, 100%, right? That's why I said poker chips. Yep. That's why I said poker chips, because it's Weird West, dude. All right, so I'm going to ask you the last question before we go into audience questions, and then head over to our rapid fire. Well, no, we're going to do rapid fire, then audience.
I think audience first, then rapid fire.
Yeah. All right. I got it. So with all that being said, Bruce, I mean, you told us some good gems. We're excited about Rust and Redemption. Great product. The fact that you are working on high noon at midnight, for the new crowdfunder. Is there anything else you want to discuss or, put out there that we haven't, or just any juicy secrets you'd like to spill?
Well, I did hear this rumor about something happening at Wizards of the Coast, and you know what? I'm not going to say it. No, I don't really have any juicy details that I'm sure all y'all don't know better than myself.
Well, we try.
I think you guys are on top of pretty much everything. I mean, I'm sure MCG has ideas for things beyond this, right? But that's too far to speculate about. But we do have thoughts. That's all I'll say on that topic.
Awesome. All right, so Al, you want to take the first audience question?
Yeah, well, let's dive into the audio questions here before we go into our rapid fire. We got a couple here. So our good friend viewer Jack One Spade asks, any chance of someday seeing more of the world of Gods of the Fall? I love the setting, would like to see the map expand for it someday.
There's I would say there is certainly a chance, and the Strange is getting another pretty big adventure drop in the Adventures of the Cypher System adventure, and so is
Predation.
Thank you. And unfortunately, Gods of the Fall is not, which means that there's an opportunity for us to visit it again, larger or smaller. In larger or smaller, Predation could be visited in larger or smaller ways as well. But right now I don't have any specific plans for it. But yes, it's possible because I love Gods of the Fall. Lots of people love Gods of the Fall. I know people who are, Charles's own offspring is running a campaign, Gods of the Fallen campaign right now in college right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, people were kind of upset that it's out of print.
And just to piggyback off that, yeah, it's out of print. And you kind of read my mind there, Dean. What I was going to say was, since we're kind of on the topic before we move on to the next audience question, was even if we don't see more of the world, like Jack One Spade was asking about, I would love to see a revamped version of the Gods of the Fall, or all the the same world of Cypher books, where we get it like the updated treatment, make it more in line with the current Cypher book. Yeah. That would be cool. Awesome to see. Yeah, that, again, just throwing it out there.
It's IP that we have, and I could certainly see something like that happening, yes, in the future. That would be super cool. In the shorter term, I would like to see it go back into print, but maybe, interesting.
I mean, you could go back into print with the classic book, and then for part of I guess you could like a Kickstarter, and then you can do another book that's all in the same world. Maybe another 50 years. With the world looks 50 years later. So there's a small little pantheon established. Hey, I'm just throwing ideas out there. Just don't listen to me. I'm just talking. So KetHup, he said, this is not a game-related question. Instead, how are you doing? I hope life is going well, and I know being a creative can be tiring.
Things are going pretty good right now. I can't complain. Things are for me going well. Things that's people, things up and down in your life, but at this particular moment, I can't complain. I have vacations coming up. MCG actually has a really nice vacation policy that I never really take advantage of, and I'm going to try and do better this year and not work so much. Like you said, it's if I can just, I know if I take a week off and don't work on anything, I will be like, oh, I have all these great ideas and I want to write. But I don't know, everything. What I'm trying to say is I look forward to taking some vacations, which I have the opportunity to take. I just don't take them that often.
Rest is important.
Definitely get that. You definitely need to do that. That's mental health, and it even bleeds over to physical health.
Yes. When I work at Wizards, I would take hardly any vacation, and when I took vacation, it would be to write novels, right? So I would be writing part-time novels, and I'd be like, oh, I got to write another 30,000 words to finish this novel. So I would take off 2 weeks from work, 2 weeks of vacation, and I would write 20 or 30. One time I had to write 3,000 words a day, for 10 days to get that 30,000 words written. That was my vacation at Wizards. So that I'm nowhere near there. So that's good. I'm doing much better than that.
Good to
That's
hear.
awesome.
I mean, trust me, we like when you write words. We really, really do. But we want you to be able to continue to write words. So yes, please take a break.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, totally. Yep. And
Oh,
I work out every day, and that's a great break, honestly. Like I'll walk the dog in the middle of the day. But at the end of the day, I'll do like some sort of, much more energetic workout. And then I'll be like, oh, I could spend 20 minutes working on my novel now. And then I'm like, oh, and then it's 6 p.m. I'm like, time for a, drink of champagne or a drink of wine or whatever. It makes up. And then I'm usually either me or my partner, make supper. We split those tasks. So, but, we talk about the day. So it's very relaxing. Yeah, things are good.
nice. Love to hear it. But our next audience question, kind of a funny one, and not funny one, funny who it comes from. It's from our very own Spigs. Kind of feels like kind of cheaty having him have an audience question when we write the mainline questions, but either way, it's a good one. That's why I put it in there. He says, with the Bestiary coming out soon, were there any monsters that missed the cut but you wish had made it to the book?
I had a lot of no. I mean, there's more monsters we could put in this format, yes, but I think that this is the book I wanted it to be. So I'm pretty happy.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. So Jason C says, Shadow Main, do you have any time to write any fiction? Have you had any time to write any other fiction late? Excuse me.
Yeah, I try and give myself an hour a day, like at the end of 5 days, 5 days a week, 4 days to write fiction. I have a Patreon for writing fiction, actually. And since people know me as games, they're like, yeah, no. So I don't have a lot of people supporting me there, but it's enough for me to keep moving forward. I finished a novel, and that was the first novel that I finished that I didn't have a publisher for. And I was like, okay, I'll get an agent. Turns out, you have to query, 70 times apparently to get an agent, or at least in my experience of my friends. I'm like, each query takes about an hour of my time. I'm like, you know what? After I did like 15, I'm like, I'm just going to start writing another novel. So I have one novel in the trunk, I guess you'd say, trunk novel. And, soon I'll have another novel. I'll query that for 15, 20 agents, see if I can get one interested, because once you get the agent, and they bring it to the publisher, blah, blah, blah. My other novels before this, when I was working at Wizards and one at MCG, that they said to me, hey, would you write us a novel, for X or Y? And I'm like, yes. And then it was a much more, like, gotta finish, gotta hit the deadline. Now it's like, I have no deadline. I have to be motivated by my Patreon. That is why I have the Patreon, to have people pay me money to make me feel bad to finish this freaking novel.
So I'll make the suggestion that you should just go ahead and self-publish it on Amazon and let us know. We'll promote the dog water out of it, and everybody will buy it.
Novel can't get an agent. Yeah, I'll explore other options at that point.
Yeah, because I'll buy it. I mean, Myth of the Maker is one of my favorite books. I'll be honest with you, enjoyed it immensely.
Oh, thank you.
So. His camera blurred.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh.
Your camera blurred out there for a moment.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
Well,
yeah. So this was fantastic. Oh, we have one good question in the chat here from Jack Once Made. One more audience question, if you know, anyway. Is the upcoming setting book set in an alternate Earth or a new world entirely? Like, are there real world locations or just another place with humans and familiar stuff?
Are we talking the setting book?
Gunslinger Knights.
Gunslinger Knights.
Gunslinger Knights? Yeah, it's not Earth.
It's called Sakara. They told us that in the.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They told us it's a world called Sakara. So yeah,
this is kind of like the origin to this setting as that origin was to the superhero.
Nice. Okay. That's beautiful too.
The origin was just the setting that had superhero elements in it, and this is the setting that has Weird West, elements.
Yeah.
Although it goes farther astray than I knew.
The Origin is such a great book, Bruce. Oh, love that book. Well, I love superheroes, and that's just like perfect. So,
A Trump novel is a superhero novel, Dean. Maybe you would like it.
oh, see, now you to talk. You see, well, oh, okay, Bruce, stop. Okay.
But I need an editor, right? That's the thing. I need an agent. I need an agent. I need an editor. Anyway, it's a process.
Well, we will help you any way we can. Any way we can. And definitely, I think you should go ahead and just kickstart your book. I mean, somebody said it in the chat that Brian Sanderson, he's like made like millions of dollars with his Kickstarters for his books, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
So, but at any rate, we're going to move on to the new and improved post-apocalyptic rapid-fire questions. As Anthony would say, this is the part where we're going to reach in. We're going to grab your insight, your essence, and we're going to pull it out, stretch it across the table for the world to see. We're going to put you on the spot. So without further ado, the post-apocalyptic rapid-fire questions coming at you, Bruce.
Drum roll.
Come on.
All right, got it.
First question, environmental disaster or celestial body?
Celestial body.
Fast or slow zombies?
Fast.
Mad Max, Mel Gibson or Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, yes.
Omega Man or I Am Legend?
I Am Legend.
Fallout or Numenera?
Did he answer? Or he just laughed?
Man, I love them both.
Oh yeah, it's a good answer.
Evil.
It's a good answer. So, Logan's Run or the Book of Eli?
Logan's Run.
Terminator or The Matrix?
Another hard one. Fuck. I'm gonna surprise people and go Terminator, or go old school anyway.
And this is where we mix it up a little bit. Whoa, excuse me. No, this is an or question. Would you rather survive the apocalypse in a city or a countryside?
Countryside. I have some headcanon on that.
Planet of the Apes or The Walking Dead?
Planet of the Apes. Yeah, let's go with that. Zombies are scary.
They really are. And lastly, if you could have one item with you for the apocalypse, what would it be?
Water purifier.
Nice.
Very nice, practical
And you
answer.
have survived the rapid fire questions.
Woo.
Excellent. Some
In
of
an
your
alternate reality, I might have said a power battery with a solar panel connector. Like a Jackery battery with a solar panel connector, so it can charge itself up. That would also be nice. One or the other.
Some of your questions, I was surprised with the answers, but that was cool. But that absolutely great. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
So
That was fun. Thank you for giving me that test, that litmus test of my innermost thoughts and fears.
So Al, you got anything else?
No,
Before I go into the
thank you
spiel?
so much, Bruce, for coming on. This has been a fantastic talk. Thank you, everyone, for coming and watching. I hope you learned some new stuff or some great stuff about what Bruce has been working on. If you haven't checked out Rusted Redemption, please go do that. It is already available on the Monte Cook Games site. You can see that site here in the link below or links below. And yeah, we learned some great new stuff about Knights of Dust and Neon and the Bestiary. Oh my god, the Bestiary. I am so excited for that. But yeah, thank you again so much, Bruce, for coming on and telling us all these great bits of information.
Thank you too so much.
Yeah, then you can
And
take us
everyone else
over.
watching.
Yeah, we enjoyed you. So, without further ado, if you like us and you like what we do, then be sure to join our Discord. We have the largest fan-run Discord for all things Monte Cook Games, with games being run at all times. If you're not a fan of Discord, join our Facebook group. Not as big, but still plenty of discussions to be had. You can subscribe to us on YouTube or on Twitch. This way you'll never miss one of our shows, and our shows will always be uploaded to YouTube the next day, always going to be free. We're trying our best to grow our channel, so we'd appreciate any likes, shares, and subscribes so much. If none of those things are for you and you just want to help us out some other way, you can give us a small donation on Ko-fi. But those things help us out with things like the cost of Discord, Nitro, and so on and so forth. And if that's not for you, you can always get some merch, like my Cypher Unlimited shirt here that I had personalized with my name and all of that good stuff. And you can get it in multiple colors. CypherCon shirts will be coming up for CypherCon number 2, or 2. I think we're going to go with 2.0. At any rate, that's coming to you. But at the end of the day, we love you guys. So thank you again.
Yep, thank you guys so much. And yeah, as usual, from us at the CU, we will see you later.